The FBI paid Twitter $3.5 million to do its bidding. Taxpayers' money was used to suppress Hunter Biden laptop story and process agencies' requests to silence GOP voices as fury mounts over secret state censorship of the American people. You may have heard the breaking news yesterday. Well, there's more developments here. Elon Musk says it's not just Twitter. Of course it's not. It's everything. And it explains why when I was quoting Senator Rand Paul on the Senate floor about a particular CIA individual, my video was removed from the internet without warning. It would seem that the lengths the intelligence agencies went to manipulate and control the American people in this country go far beyond what any of us knew, but probably so far what's been exposed is not as bad as we might expect it to be. But then again, when you think about things like Epstein Island and Maxwell and how the FBI did nothing, or as Luke would say, helped suppress the story, we can now see the lengths, the depravity, and the corruption. I look around at the United States. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona for Turning Point USA, and it's beautiful. The houses are beautiful, the luxuries, the amenities. The garlic hummus with sea salt, black tortilla chips. Man, we have it really good. We have it better than basically anyone in a really, really long time. But there are dark things at work that would seek to strip away all of that good because for a few reasons. They think you don't deserve it. They think you can be happy without it if only you didn't know. And that's the world they want to live in. Now, my view of why the intelligence agencies do this starts from the more minor into the more worrisome. And that is to say that when we're learning the story of Twitter and why the FBI was doing this, why Twitter was being paid, well, at its heart, they were protecting the Biden family. These individual agents were probably just like, hey, we want to help Joe Biden. But then it goes up to the higher level. They want to win. They want control. They want to maintain the status quo and their power. And they know Trump is a threat to that. And then it goes up a little bit higher than that. And you have powerful global interests who are on stage at, say, a TED Talk, like Bill Gates, talking about reducing population growth. You have individuals talking about how you will own nothing. You will be happy. You see, here's the way I see it. I think these people know that we have a great degree of wealth and success. And it's easy to control and manipulate the planet and the people into doing what they want if they create a large gap between the haves and the have-nots. So, the easiest way to control a system may not be to accumulate all the power. It may be to strip the power away from those you seek to control. We often think that many of these individuals are seeking power, right? Why would the FBI do this? To help Joe Biden win, to gain power? But certainly there's the inverse. Take the power away from the people, give more power to the upper echelon, and that gap will make you substantially more powerful. It's not just about your ability to run government or to direct intelligence agencies or declare war. It's about, can you get someone to do what you want? And there's only so much power to be consumed and wielded in politics. In fact, it is easier to control a population when they have nothing, because then you can make them happy by dangling the little bit of food right in front of their faces. So let's talk about what's currently happening. It ain't just about the FBI. It's about so much more. And what this fight really is, what Elon Musk is doing that is good and what he's doing that's bad, and where we ultimately end up. Part of me wants to believe that we're headed in the right path. I see a lot of signs to indicate that we are. But why should we just assume that? Because we want to? Because we want the white pill? Because choking on black pills ain't going to do anything for us, perhaps? Maybe Elon is not the savior you think he is. Maybe he is. Maybe. When I see people like Carrie Lake, it gives me hope. I talked to Carrie Lake. I talked to her literally the other day. And I feel like we are winning. And I hope we are. Because I want to live in a society where the power resides in the people, not the elites who suppress. Let's read the news, talk about what's going on, and get a little philosophical with it. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com, become a member. in order to support our work directly. It's not just about the content you get, but for most of you, I understand that it is. It's about the mission. As a member, you are supporting this operation. We just did the Timcast IRL show live on stage at Turning Point USA, combining our efforts. It was fantastic. And we've got a lot of plans for building culture to inspire people to stand up and push back. And one of those efforts is going to be the opening of several coffee shops where people can hang out and commune. Something alternative to a church for people who don't necessarily believe in that. And with your support as a member at timcast.com, we're going to keep doing more and more and more of that. We're going to hire people. We're going to put faces on billboards in Times Square. They're up there right now. I just want to see the shift in culture towards power to the people. So go to timcast.com, click that join us button, become a member, because you'll get a product. You'll get a show. You'll be entertained. But more importantly, you are helping to create that culture. And when you become a member, you are utilizing Parallel Economy. That is the financial transaction service we use, co-founded by Dan Bongino. Because I mean it when I say we must build that parallel economy. So we use Parallel Economy. And with your support and your trust, we're going to do everything we can to influence the culture in a positive direction. Smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends. From the Daily Mail, they report the FBI handed nearly $3.5 million of taxpayer money to Twitter in order for the social media giant to continue to do its bidding. In an email from February 2021, an unnamed Twitter employee estimated that the company's safety, content, and law enforcement had collected $3,415,323 in less than 2 years from the FBI for law enforcement-related projects. The staffer was emailing then General Counsel Sean Edgett and then Deputy General Counsel Jim Baker in the damning message. The subject of the email read, "Run the business, we made the money. We made money." It was Baker, a former FBI lawyer who met with the feds to discuss suppressing and discrediting the Hunter Biden laptop story a month before the bombshell New York Post article was published, despite the agency knowing legitimacy of the reporting. When Baker wanted the story squashed after it was published, Twitter's safety moderator Yoel Roth said that he wasn't sure if the story violated any of the company's policies, but added, "This feels a lot like a somewhat subtle leak operation." An investigation into Twitter's behavior around the 2020 presidential election by the incoming Republican majority in the House has been promised by Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, telling Fox News this week, "This is going to be much bigger situation than people realize." The nearly $3.5 million was paid to Twitter in exchange for workers continuing to process FBI requests to silence American citizens. In the staffer's email, it says that the millions will be used on law enforcement-related projects, according to the latest dump of Twitter files from reporter Michael Schellenberger. Current Twitter CEO Elon Musk said in the emails, "Government paid Twitter millions of dollars to censor info from the public." The leak also showed the day after holding a secret one-on-one briefing with the Bureau to discuss the suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop story. Baker acknowledged to staff that more information was necessary, but willing to err on the side of censorship. Baker said in an email, "There are some facts that indicated that the materials may have been hacked." Baker also said in an email to staff, "I support the conclusion that we need more facts to assess whether the materials were hacked. At this stage, however, it is reasonable for us to assume that they may have been, and that caution is warranted." Ultimately, what we get. Matt Taibbi tweeted, "Twitter's contact with the FBI was constant and pervasive, as if it were a subsidiary." Yesterday, Charlie Kirk said on the show, it wasn't just the money that they were paying, it's all the government advertising. Twitter's getting tons of money from the government, all pooled together for promoting the military and other operations, even if it is just ads. But this we can see direct payment of $3.5 million for censorship activities. We are not just talking about a violation of the First Amendment. We are talking about the government paying a private corporation for the express purpose of violating the First Amendment. Elon Musk responds, "Other social media companies too, not just Twitter. Probably what you're watching right now. The whole game is being propped up. It's being manipulated. To what degree, I don't know. The one thing that I pointed out yesterday on the show was that while it may be that these platforms are weaponized by intelligence agencies to control the flow of information and manipulate the public, they can't control everything, and we are still able to communicate. Though they really don't like it, and they've certainly tried shutting down people like Steven Crowder, there's only so much they can do. Here's what they're hoping for. I spoke to an individual who worked in the government who said the goal is to create a pressure so that around 51% of information favors the machine and around 49% is unfavorable to the machine. The way it works, we feel like we're having our voices heard. We feel like we're making progress. But because of the weight on the scales, the left keeps winning. The concern is that if they suppress you or I and dissent too much, it'll create a pressure cooker which will explode. They don't want that. There needs to be some kind of pressure release valve. The way I've described it before, I think that's why they like my show and my channel, within reason. It's a pressure release valve. They want to ban conservatives from the platform, ban individuals on the right, silence their voices and shut down stories like this. But they know that if they ban too many people, it will create a backlash. So they tolerate channels like mine. You know, I'm a milquetoast fence sitter. I'm a moderate, slightly liberal in a certain sense, slightly conservative in a certain sense, but probably center-left libertarian on a lot of issues. And that's the acceptable right for them as they shift the Overton window. Think of it this way. There is a wheel before you. You have the right, you have the far right, the center, the left, and the far left. Here I am in the center, but the wheel turns. Center becomes right, right becomes far right falls off. Far left becomes left, left becomes center. And that's where we're at right now. I've been a centrist as long as I've been doing this for the most part because I'm just interested in learning. And now they say I'm right wing. Yeah, I've tried claiming far right, but usually it doesn't stick, but they say right wing. Because I'm fairly moderate. But that's the game. That's the goal. And I believe the intelligence agencies are probably playing that game. Now, to what extent does it tie into Epstein and Bill Gates and all of those bigger conspiracies? I don't know. But I think it does. I think for most of the FBI agents, they probably genuinely, the average, average FBI person who's playing this game and violating the Constitution and, in my opinion, acting in a seditious conspiracy when they're paying money to subvert the First Amendment. And that's what they're doing. They have no authority to do it. They probably think they're doing the right thing. Oh, we're law enforcement. We're trying to protect our elections. I think Twitter employees don't care. Michael Schellenberger. In the end, the FBI's influence campaign aimed at executives at news media, Twitter, and other social media companies worked. They censored and discredited the Hunter Biden laptop story. By December 2020, Baker and his colleagues even sent a note of thanks to the FBI for its work. Now, this is part of the bombshell. This is a psyop run by the FBI on the American people. Twitter Files author Michael Schellenberger says FBI knew Hunter Biden laptop story was real, but still told Twitter and the U.S. public it was fake. He told Tucker Carlson the FBI attempted to suppress the story. Yeah, here's what happened. The FBI contacts Twitter. Twitter ultimately says something along the lines of, Jim Baker was basically FBI, right? He's in Twitter. And the argument was that someone hacked Hunter Biden's information, copied it to a laptop, and then snuck in and deposited that laptop with the computer repair shop. That was the story. Sounds reasonable, right? It sounds reasonable. It's not true. That was the lie. And it's an easy lie. Russia's hacking our elections. So here's what we got to do. We got to tell the people that the laptop's not real. Uh-oh. Laptop is real. It is now widely reported the laptop was real. Yeah. Come on. Let's talk about two stories. One from the FBI. Russian hackers somehow hacked into Hunter Biden's computer, cloned the whole thing, then snuck into a computer repair store, disguised as Hunter Biden, dropped it off and signed his signature, and then left it there. Or a drug-addled crackhead forgot his computer at a repair shop. Hunter Biden's well off. It's possible. The computer broke. Something was wrong with it. He's drugged out of his mind. We know that he got a gun and then it got thrown in a dumpster behind a school or something like that, or across from a school. I'm sorry, dude. I'm going to have to go with drug abusing crackhead whose teeth were all filed down and posts videos of himself with, ladies of the night, probably just forgot his laptop. You see, that's the funny thing. Yoel Roth and these Twitter people want to believe it couldn't possibly be real. The left now comes out and says, the Democrats, they say, oh, well, Hunter Biden's still not Joe. Uh-oh. The laptop has evidence of malfeasance from Joe Biden. The machine wants Joe Biden to win because Joe Biden's the machine. Donald Trump is not. Donald Trump may have been the first time since, maybe JFK, that we actually had a president. But I don't know how far back it goes. Maybe Jekyll Island. The other night we were talking about the assassination of JFK. Tucker Carlson did a segment where he said that he talked to a source with insider info who said the CIA was involved in killing JFK. I don't know what's true or not. There's a lot of stories. But it is interesting we're at the point now where it's become kind of more of a mainstream idea. Let's entertain that idea. At what point did the United States go from being a republic to being a machine, to being an empire? We had a civil war. After the Civil War, it was in the 1870s. And was it 1876? I get the years mixed up. The election was so tumultuous that a committee hearing was had between higher up officials from many of the states. And they said, you know what, look, let's just figure out who the president's going to be so we don't have another civil war. It was a bit chaotic in this country. We were powerful in a certain sense. We are kind of unstable in a certain sense. Around the early 1900s, the monster from Jekyll Island emerged, the Federal Reserve, centralized banking. Oh, they've tried setting up central banking before that. Was that the moment when control of this country was subverted, perhaps? What is it, the 17th Amendment? Senators are appointed by popular vote? I think that was a mistake. Maybe JFK wasn't the first president or the last president outside of the machine. Some people suggest he is. Yesterday during Timcast IRL, we talked about how after that we got this mechanized military-industrial complex, and no, maybe JFK was completely a part of that. But he began to defy it, and so they regained control. Donald Trump began to defy it, and then they regained control. The only thing, they're losing control. That's why I feel kind of optimistic. If it really were hopeless, the propaganda would not be necessary. If it really were hopeless, we wouldn't see cracks in the facade, water bursting through as the dam begins to break. They say Elon Musk's looking for a new Twitter CEO. I certainly hope he brings in a fierce culture warrior who can do something, but they're coming after him. Twitter is hit with dozens of legal complaints by ex-employees. Yeah, here it comes. They all will stop at nothing, weaponize everything to go after Elon Musk. Okay. Elon Musk may not be the hero you think he is, but he's doing enough good to where I'll take what I can get. Ron DeSantis may not be the hero you think he is, but he is doing enough good, I will take what I can get. There's always that modicum of doubt. Is Elon Musk controlled opposition? We think it of everyone. Is Ron DeSantis really going to be the hero to push back on the establishment? Or is he controlled opposition? I mean, it'd be a perfect story, right? You're losing control of the system. Donald Trump is rising in the ranks. How do we wrestle control away from Trump? We need someone better. It's the only way to do it. You can't come out and say Trump is evil. You got to come out and say you like him. You got to come out and do a better job than he does. And then take the system by the horns and direct it in the direction you want to go. And then along comes a Ron DeSantis challenging Donald Trump, seemingly set to displace him in 2024. Maybe, maybe not. A lot of people want to believe that. I can't live that way. I mean, sure. The reality is that Ron DeSantis has done enough good to where I'll take it. Because what else do you do? Reject the people who are doing right by you? Elon Musk. Yeah, he's got factories in China. He's praised China in many ways. Neuralink is quite scary. And his blue check algorithm system sounds really like a bad idea. But he's releasing this information exposing the manipulation. He's releasing the Twitter files. He's calling out the machine. He's suspending these awful journalists, the ones who lie in defense of the intelligence state. I'll take it. It may be destabilizing. There's a certain calm in laying back and letting the intelligence agencies resume control. Isn't there? Wouldn't life be so much better if you just owned nothing? You'd be happy, right? See, that's the problem. Ignorance will not be bliss, my friends. They want to tell you that, but in the end, you're already suffering. And you know people who don't know what's going on who are suffering. So no, ignorance isn't bliss. As they wrestle away our luxuries and what we earned through our hard work building this nation, we feel the pain. Now, I come from a more humble background than many, and have risen to a position of excess, in a sense. And I can tell you, man, I do think Americans are gluttonous. I do think they are entitled, but not every single one of them. And just because there are morbidly obese homeless people does not mean that you, the working class, should suffer because of it. And that's where we're headed. Because these elites think that you, regardless of your hard work, should live to lower standards. You know what? We were happy when we didn't have air conditioning or refrigerators. Why not take that all away so that we can have it? Make the luxuries more expensive. The poor people will own nothing and they'll be happy. They say ignorance is bliss, but it's not. Because in the ignorance, the American people who don't know what's going on, they're watching their savings dwindle, inflation destroy their ability to buy products. They're seeing their homes foreclosed on, property values collapse, their cars repossessed, jobs disappearing. In their ignorance, they suffer. But if they knew, there's a lot they could do. Get away from cities, get some chickens, have a family, work hard, and find ways to survive. And that's why I think ignorance is not bliss. That's a trick. And that's why they want to suppress information. Eventually, those who do know nothing will own nothing, but they won't be happy. That's not true. Life was very, very difficult before. And right now we have many entitled millennials, and we have a lot of entitled people in general. They'll never be happy either. But you and I, why should we suffer because of ignorant and angry masses? We should be able to work hard and succeed if we want. I want to show you what the world will be like if we lose. Well, I want to show you what's currently happening and talk about how why we need to push back. We have this from CNN. Oliver Darcy. Elon Musk tweeted, as outgoing chair of House Intelligence, did you approve hidden state censorship in direct violation of the Constitution of the United States? Rep. Adam Schiff. Yeah, Adam Schiff is a liar. Adam Schiff, he published private phone records of American citizens, journalists no less. And Oliver Darcy of CNN says, just noting the irony in Musk lobbying accusations of censorship at anyone, as he also maintains open bans on journalists on his own platform. You see, Oliver Darcy knows he's lying. And that's the point. I said it's funny because you've made yourself a D-tier public figure only among people stupid enough to believe you. Was it worth it, Oliver? He said, is that why you tweet incessantly about me and have pitched me stories about yourself in the past? Strange, you would waste your time obsessing over and pitching D-tier folks, but you do you. And my response? Nice try, Oliver. Your reaction says everything we need to know. You're insecure and your network is sinking. You decided to throw your weight behind a failing operation. Best of luck with suckling the tea to the machine and pandering to morons. You know, I've had it. I'm done. I know Oliver knows he's lying. Elon Musk isn't just randomly suppressing journalists. He's going after people who are effectively working for the government, who are lying, cheating, and stealing. And here's an example. Taylor Lorenz. You know, I gave her the benefit of the doubt a while ago, but boy, did she just go so awful. John Levine says, quote, they just make this stuff up, shot and chaser. Let me show you some posts from Taylor Lorenz. Here's one. She said, I went to public school my entire life, aside from a short study abroad semester program for U.S. students that in zero ways cost $90,000, LOL. I have zero family in Connecticut. You people just make up fan fiction about my life. She said, they just make this stuff up. Really? Here's a story from the Greenwich Time. This is local Connecticut, March 2021. Connecticut native Taylor Lorenz got attacked on Twitter. She's not the only woman to face. Oh, that's weird. Why is a local Connecticut paper saying she's from Connecticut? Okay, maybe she's from Connecticut, but she has no family there? Sure, whatever. Here's my favorite. Taylor Lorenz tweeting March 9th, 2020. Oh, my birthday. Before you Google, I went to a small private Swiss boarding school. Tuition is $90K. Being surrounded by privilege only highlighted the immense disparity between what I grew up with and what others didn't. It's why it's so important to understand personal experiences are not universal. Taylor Lorenz is a liar because either she lied then or she's lying now. Pick one. Either she didn't go to a $90K boarding school or she did. Either she's got no family, maybe she has no family in Connecticut, but she grew up there according to a newspaper. Maybe the newspaper is wrong. Fine, fair point. But in this, she lied. She gets suspended temporarily for doxing, and Elon Musk said so. And Oliver Darcy is saying open bans on journalists. It's a manipulation to suckle the teat of the machine that would strip from you your rights because they want you to live in the pod and eat the bugs. Now, I don't know what Oliver Darcy's intention is. He may just be a very evil person. You know, I think Oliver Darcy's intention is to be a chattering little creature running around the ankles of the machine, just doing what they want for little head pets. In all seriousness, he's hoping that where he is will grant him comfort and wealth. Me, I don't care about that. I actually would prefer to live in a van down by the river, and the machine would prefer it too. There are a lot of people who don't want to live that way. That's fine by me. You live the way you want. But man, I'd rather just have a homestead. I want to be honest. I'd much prefer than all of this to get a little house in the middle of nowhere and just have a farm. Just, that's it. Chickens, eat the eggs. That's it. Work in the fields periodically. I like the comfort. I like the leisure. I like the ability to think and build. I don't need all this, but it's tough because I feel like if I don't speak up and call out the lies and the manipulations, then eventually I won't have that opportunity either. The way things are going, the way things are moving, we may end up in a world where you can't just retreat into the middle of nowhere. They say the end goal, is to have everyone forced to live in these machine cities so that nature can be preserved. Well, I don't. I want to live in the middle of nowhere and mind my own business. I'm sure many of you do too. And if we decide to just walk away and shut our mouths, eventually there will be no minding your own business. They will come. They will come knocking. We've seen it in many other countries. Oliver Darcy thinks that by suckling the teat, he'll be okay. No, he won't be when the machine truly comes. The New York Post, Elon Musk says only paying Twitter subscribers can vote in future polls. We'll see how that one plays out. But I trust Elon Musk is working to fix the system and maybe fix our culture to a certain degree. David Sachs tweets, we need a new church commission to investigate why the FBI and intelligence community are engaged in social media censorship, including the suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop story. Yeah. What is this little symbol? Very good clip from Senator Frank Church. They had the commission. They wanted answers to what the intelligence agencies were doing. I do think we need one now. Luke's been calling for one. He's right. From timcast.com. European Union approves carbon tax for individuals. Some officials warn the new CO2 taxes could be politically suicidal and spark widespread protests. But they don't care. Have you guys seen the movie Watchmen? I'm sorry, Kingsman. Watchmen's a good movie too. Kingsman. If you haven't, I strongly recommend you see it, but spoiler alert, it's an old movie, so. There is a secret intelligence agency, a private intelligence agency called Kingsman. And their agents are all named at the Knights of the Round Table. I think it's Galahad who dies, but anyway. There's a villain. He's a tech billionaire. He's concerned about overpopulation. So he announced he's going to give everyone free cell phones. Free cell phones. How about that? Sounds like a good idea, right? Turns out, though, he can activate a machine that makes these devices emit a sound wave, an energy frequency, that stimulates the aggression part of the brain and makes everyone nuts. And they all start trying to kill each other. But for the global elites, they had special devices in their brains that protected them. The only problem? The devices also had a failsafe. If someone defied him, he could blow up their heads. So in the end, Eggsy, the character's name, activates the machine, him and his team, blowing up all the heads of the elites. Here's the thing. Even the head of the private intelligence agency, who went by Arthur, was in on the game. They are all in on the game. We need, as Steve Bannon said, a populist uprising. Regular people to say for, of, and by the people. The American Revolution was an aberration in the history of the world. The people were not supposed to supplant the elites. The elites were supposed to be in control. And it was short-lived to a certain degree. Eventually, the elites took control once again because eventually we become the elites. People in this country gained wealth, said, why should we listen to the rabble? Short-lived. The crown could not maintain control over a country that was so far away. And the founding fathers said, decentralization, for, of, and by the people. That's what we need. That's what I believe in. But right now, around the world, you can see it. It is for, of, and by those who believe they are better men. And the better men won't let you defy them. Here's the problem I have with that. Right now, there may be a kid born in squalor and poverty who has the potential to build a spaceship, who has the potential to save humanity. The elites tend not to care about that. They say it's an anomaly. Yeah. You know what? Let's control the system because our kids are more likely to be that better man when they grow up. The only thing is it's not true. The people who think they're in control, the people in control, it only lasts a few generations. People will wrestle and build power. They'll have children who learn the lessons from their father and mother, but don't experience it. And then there are kids who will learn a lesson in facsimile and then squander the wealth, a wealth that lasts only 3 generations. So no, I don't believe in a system like that. The only way this changes is if we stand up, we speak out, and we make some kind of movement. I am no president, I am no king, I am no congressman, I am no senator, and I do not seek to be anyone's leader. I'm my own thing. I'm not part of any other organization. We have our own. I don't want to rule any company or country. I don't want to be the CEO of Twitter. I don't want to be involved at all except in what I am doing. And so that's what I'll say. The challenge, I suppose, is that Elon and the great philosophers are right. Those who want power are the worst people to get it. But then how do you convince someone who doesn't want power to lead and take the power? Because they don't want it. Many would run from it. That's tough. I don't care for power, but I do want to make changes. So the way I view the world and what I want to do is build something. So we have timcast.com. I don't want to work for somebody else. I don't want to tell anyone they have to follow behind me. I'm going to do my thing. We're going to find cool people to work with. We're going to bring them on board, and we're going to fund them. With your support at timcast.com, click that Join Us button, become a member. With your membership, you get access to all this content. You are not doing anything other than saying, you know what, man? Give it a shot, Tim. I will not be your boss. I will never be your leader. I'll just be someone who's trying to build something good that will influence this country and this world in a positive direction. That's all I can do. And there's not even a good guarantee that I can do it. I met a lot of young people who say good things, that they've been influenced, and I suppose that's all that matters in the end. If even one person's mind has been changed. Granted, I mean, it's good, but there's got to be more value there. We're going to be opening up a bunch of coffee shops. The idea here is we need physical access. We need people to be able to sit down and talk with one another. That's the plan. So, we bought a building. That building will be a space where we can do shows, where we can have games, and you can hang out. We're going to set up a little area called Ian's Crystal Cove to watch movies and read books. And we want to build a bunch of these. So that way, in various areas, people can gather and they can meet. And you know what I'm going to do? I ain't going to put no Antifa signs in the window. I'm not going to put any sign in the window saying, please don't hurt us. I'm going to put a sign in the window that says Molan Labe. I'm going to put a sign in the window that's got a Gadsden flag. I'm going to put a sign in the window that says America first. And let them come. Because they will. Antifa and the rest. They won't take kindly to our shops. But you know what? We won't stop. If you like the idea, well, become a member at timcast.com. And then I'll do what I can. Maybe it won't play out the way I hope. Maybe it'll play out way better. But I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/timcastirl. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.